Hello, I'm David Swartz from Boston University, and I'm here to announce the winner, 2024, the Mattei Dogan Foundation Prize to Anna Durnová, who is with us today for this video. The Mattei Dogan Prize is awarded to scholars who made an outstanding contribution in political sociology. And the selection is made by a jury of 5 members, 3 of which come from the standing group in political sociology of the ECPR, of which I'm one of the founding members of that standing group. The first prize was bestowed in 2007. The prize founder, Mattei Dogan, who passed away in October 2010, was a senior researcher at the French Center for National Scientific Research and a distinguished international scholar in political sociology. We are really pleased. There were 5 of us on the committee. The choice of Anna was unanimous. There were several outside recommendations that came from universities of Denver, Bern, Sciences Po in France, Vienna, the University of Toronto. Plus, we on the jury read some of Anna's publications and were really quite impressed. Just a couple brief things that really stood out to us. Well, Anna holds 2 PhDs, one in political sociology and one in comparative literature. We were quite impressed by some of her cutting-edge work, which brings the sociology of emotions and political sociology together, something that is really innovative and cutting edge, we've not seen before. And particularly, she's examining the relationship between emotions and politics and emotions and science. These are often seen in kind of binary opposites, emotions on the one hand, science on the other hand. And her research shows that there's a much more complex relationship between these two. And she's already demonstrated that, and she undoubtedly will continue making those contributions in the future. We were also intrigued with the fact that she has written a children's book that appears in Czech Republic, trying to explain to children about science, politics, what is democracy, why do wars happen, why is going to school important? Questions that we adults perhaps should be more attentive to ourselves. Her current research involves a very substantial grant that is administered through Horizon Europe entitled Climate, Inequality, Democracy, Action, the Force of Political Emotion. She brings together in this research project 11 partners from 9 different European countries. It started, I believe, in January 2024 and extends for 4 years. And we're really looking forward to the results from that research that will deal with a cutting public issue of climate change and emotions. So, Anna, congratulations on this prize. It was not difficult to arrive at a decision. Your work is outstanding, and thank you for being present for the celebration of your award. And now I'm going to pass the video to Chris from Denver, who will make a few comments.
Thank you, David. My name is Chris Weibel. I'm a professor at the School of Public Affairs at the University of Colorado, Denver, also co-director, Center for Policy and Democracy, and a visiting professor at Luleå University of Technology in Sweden. Yeah, so I was part of a small team that had the honor of nominating Anna for this award with Dr. Fritz Sager and Dr. Patrick Legalis. I've met Anna about in 2019. In part, a few things kind of drawn us together in terms of collaboration. One involves kind of methodological focus, and Anna's one of the leading scholars in interpretive methods. And she was kind enough to kind of like really talk to me about the type of scholarship she did and how she does her work. And I'm not from that tradition, so we spent a lot of time bridging the way we do our science. And also Anna's one of the leading scholars in the world on the study of emotions. And I give her a lot of credit for bringing me into that world and, guiding me in terms of, how to do scholarship in that area. And so she's had a huge impact on me as a scholar, like very few have. In fact, she's probably the most influential scholar I've worked with in the last 5-10 years. It was really an honor to write the letter to explore her work and work with Professor Sagar and Legalis to kind of nominate Anna, and it is really fantastic work. And so I recommend her stuff to everyone if you have time to read it. From here, Anna, I'll pass it on to you, but congratulations. You really are deserving of this award and have definitely earned it.
So here I am to respond to all these nice words, and I don't know what to say. So my name is Anna, and I'm deeply honored to have received this prize. And I know that people often say that, but I'd like you to know that I really am. And there's maybe a reason for that in my biographic path. When I started to do this type of research, which was almost exactly 20 years ago, I was actually on a very different academic path. I was analyzing poems, and I was trying to find out what does it mean, how do you actually articulate silence in those poems, and how can you translate those silences across languages. And then I started to collaborate as a research assistant first with political scientists doing work on meaning. And I somehow could not resist to pursue that work any further. And that's what a little bit explains my sort of schizophrenic identity, being a comparative literature scholar on the one hand, and then later on political scientist / political sociologist on the other. So that way of entering the world of political sociology, I think, has massively influenced me, because I think I can say I asked questions that felt weird to the most of the community. And I've been sometimes welcomed, sometimes with an O, and sometimes it was a sort of there was a lot of nervosity, like how can you do that in a really scientific, valuable way? And if I hadn't many colleagues around me that were sort of telling me that this is fascinating, and even though they might not be really, they might not really have understood how I'm doing my work, they were sort of believing in me, I think I wouldn't be here. So I think it's worth mentioning that, along Herbert Gottweis, who was supervisor of my PhD, it's also worth to say that the interpretive political science community with Frank Fischer, Henrik Wagner, Dvoryanov has been very valuable to me, because they sort of gave me the opportunity to express my thoughts and to be a sort of a weird scholar in the background. And as the time goes, the question of silence, truth, and emotions has actually came to the forefront of politics. No one really questions anymore the role of emotions in politics. That was not the case 20 years ago. And somehow then suddenly I felt that I have run a few rounds more than the other scholars who have only recently received that path. And I started to be read, to be cited, to be invited in hearings, and receiving a position at the University of Vienna. And somehow I felt that the world has sort of understood what I'm talking about. At the same time, it felt a little bit sad, because it meant that we live in a world in multiple crises, in the world where science is constantly under attack, where truth is under attack. And the fact that I have something to say as a social scientist about emotions and politics mean also that there is a lot to be done in society around emotions and science. So that's why this prize not only feels like a huge honor to me, but also an obligation to pursue that work further. So in a nutshell, I feel honored and I feel obliged to continue my work. And I'm really grateful that I can have this moment in my career where I think that I did a great thing. But I'd like also to add that it won't I wouldn't have been without many people around me, not only in academia, also outside academia. I've never hidden in my public speaking that I'm also a mother, and that work-life balance is actually an everyday life of an academic. So with that, I guess there's no really a final point in my speech, unless I'd like to keep that work doing, and I'd like to stay the way I am and stay in touch with all my wonderful colleagues that sort of brought me up there. So thank you once again to ECPR and to the committee. I'm really very honored.
Thank you, Chris, for your comments regarding Anna's work. And thank you in particular to Anna for your research. Again, we are quite happy on the part of the jury for the Mattei Dogan Prize to award this to you in 2024.